My name is Grisha Stewart, and I'm a dog trainer in Seattle, Washington, in the United States. And I specialize in aggression and fear and socialization of puppies. And I developed a technique called b.a.t, or Behaviour Adjustment Training. I wrote a book about b.a.t, and also I have some DVDs. I developed b.a.t for my own dog and also for the clients that I work with. I have a dog was reactive to people and dogs and children and all kinds of other things, and some of the techniques out there were helpful but not enough for him, and so I developed it as a way to help him gain some more confidence. And that was I first started talking to the world about b.a.t in 2009, and then I made my first DVD in 2010, and then it's really gotten kind of interestingly crazy after that. I now talk all around the world and do seminars, and I really have a great time helping dogs in the world. b.a.t is basically a way to help dogs with issues from fear to aggression to frustration. Basically, anytime that you have a behavior that you're looking to eliminate, you can do it with teaching a replacement behavior, and b.a.t really focuses on aggression and fear type behaviors. And so it could be afraid of other people, it could be dogs who are afraid of dogs, and we're actually going to be working with a dog with a vacuum cleaner in one of our other clips. So basically what we do is we help dogs by letting them approach to some distance where they're feeling comfortable still, but paying attention to the trigger, and then at that point they usually can decide to give a replacement behavior, and that's something like turning away, shaking off, sniffing the ground, something besides for doing aggression or panic. And when they do that behavior, then we'll mark with a verbal marker or clicker.
Yes.
And at that instant, then we reinforce with what's called a functional reward, whatever the dog was earning from doing the problem behavior in the first place. So the reason they were barking and lunging might be to get distance away from the scary vacuum cleaner. And so what we'll do then is that at that point, after they do the head turn, we'll say yes, and then walk the dog away as the reinforcement. It can also be used for frustration, and so the reinforcement could be going closer instead of further away. Dogs work very hard with their aggression or their fear or that sort of behavior to earn distance away from the trigger. So their barking and lunging is something that could be getting them into a fight, and so it's definitely reinforcing for them to get that distance. So it reinforces all kinds of terrible behaviors, and so you can use it to reinforce a behavior that you actually like better. And what I like a lot about b.a.t is it helps dogs get used to the trigger itself. It gives them a chance to actually check it out and see it and learn, and then learn how to move their own bodies around to decrease the stress. One thing about b.a.t is that it uses these functional rewards, so using not just real life consequences, but the consequence that's very appropriate for the behavior that you're trying to replace in the first place. So it's specifically focused on aggressive type behaviors, and that's something where a lot of positive training will use food instead as a reinforcement, or toys. And if you're using those types of reinforcers, you can create behaviors that are almost appropriate, but they're not quite social. And so they're not quite what a regular dog would do. And if you're using functional rewards instead at that moment, then it helps the dog learn that if they have a certain goal that they're trying to achieve, like distance or whatever, that they can do that through these new behaviors versus looking for something that might earn them treats. So it's less focused on the handler and more focused on the social situation. And there is another technique that's sort of similar, a couple of techniques that are sort of similar, the John Fisher's 2 reward method, or CAT, constructional aggression treatment. Both of those I consider to be less dog friendly in the sense that you would go more over threshold with the dogs using those methods. And so my focus is really on keeping the dog below threshold, calm, and having a good time. So in terms of time, it depends on how long the dog has done the behavior in the first place, so how long he or she has been reactive, and also how many sessions the person is able to do. And by sessions, I mean that they're able to do these sort of dress rehearsals with the trigger and the dog, learning to get used to that trigger. And so like with aggression to people, for example, then it may be 10 to 20 different setups. So maybe 10 different people that the dog sees twice for about half an hour to 45 minutes a time. And that isn't necessarily with a trainer the whole time, but it should be a very scripted, careful introduction the whole time.